All right, everybody, here we are. It is 12/7 of 21. We have the stock market almost set to open. Looks to be, and it's going to open up big again. We got up 341 from the Dow already, the S&P 61, and NASDAQ 306. As we can see here, Dow futures jumped more than 300 points, continue to rebound as investors reassess the variant risk. This bothers me all the time because then one day they're scared of the variant, one day they're not, one day they're not. It's just so back and forth, and it's amazing how it affects certain things. But what I wanted to get into is CNBC has this article here about the stocks making the biggest moves pre-market, and so these are kind of interesting things that kind of you can look at now and you can look at long term too. So if we go down here, we got biggest moves are going to be American Airlines, Autozone, GlaxoSmithKline, and others. All right, so others, that's great. Tesla, you can see here, is up 3.27%. AutoZone, let's see, let's go down here. So American Airlines is going to be rose 3% pre-market because the CEO, Doug Parker, announced he would step down from the job on March 31st and remain as chairman. He'll be replaced by current American Airlines president Robert Isom. So apparently they don't like him as much as they like Mr. Isom, or they're looking for something new and interesting. So I guess good news for American Airlines owners, stock owners, and if you're interested in American Airlines. Now, AutoZone, I'm a car dealer. I own a car dealership, I'm sorry. I guess it makes me a car dealer. But AutoZone, the auto parts retailer, reported a quarterly profit of $25.69 per share, beating the consensus estimate of $20. Holy crap, they crushed it. Crushed it. Look at that. That's $5 over what that's 25%. Good grief. Revenue also beat estimates with comparable store sales jumped 13.6%. Analysts surveyed the street account had predicted a comp store sales rise of 5%. I imagine AutoZone is killing it right now. How much is it up? Was it up here? I think it was on this little thing here. Only 2.5%. That's kind of surprising me, but that's an interesting one, and look for that in the future. If we do actually get a crash or some sort of downtrend, what I find in the car business is that when we have these crashes and we have these things that where money's tight, people tend to spend more fixing their cars. So similar to what happens with Home Depot and Lowe's, people will build more of their own stuff. They'll utilize Lowe's and Home Depot to build their own things instead of paying a contractor. Now, I know a contractor will go get their stuff from AutoZone and Lowe's and such. I mean, not from Lowe's and Home Depot, but mechanics, they typically use wholesalers, and they use these other areas. Like we have connections with some wholesalers, that's where we get some parts from. But in our world, we don't do as much volume as a mechanic in terms of parts. So we actually utilize AutoZone quite a bit. And I know that a lot of times that's what happens to a lot of my customers. They use AutoZone instead of going to a mechanic only because they can't afford to. So that's a really interesting one to watch out for. You got O'Reilly's, AutoZone, Advanced Auto Part, Discount Auto Part, those ones right there. Keep an eye on those ones if we do get into some kind of turmoil where money is tight. Money tightens up, people try to find ways to save money, and mechanics are very expensive. Well, good ones are. So anyways, okay, we got designer brands. The footwear retailer beat estimates by 30 cents, adjusted quarterly earnings of 86 cents per share. Revenue fell short of Wall Street's forecast. Nonetheless, the shares rallied 3.7% pre-market. We got GlaxoSmithKline said early stage study shows its antibody therapy for the virus developed in partnership with the U.S.-based Ver is effective against the Omicron. Ver jumped 7% and Glaxo added 0.6. I mean, I guess I don't know how effective it is if you're only getting 0.6%, but either way, that's good news for that company. Here we go. Tesla's replacing faulty cameras on some of its models, according to internal documents by CNBC. Cameras can cause a driver to see a blank or choppy video on a car's primary display. Separately, that's for their camera. Interesting. So it's like I don't know if that's when you're driving. I've driven a couple Teslas there, so it's kind of interesting that would occur. Separately, UBS issues. They reports that no rival would come close to Tesla in 2022. Although it maintained a neutral rating in the stock, it gained 3.5% pre-market, right? So they're basically saying Tesla owns the EV market at least through 2022. And we'll just see what happens from there, right? I know Elon was out there talking about some things where he didn't want these subsidies anymore. So we'll see how that all plays itself out. We got Constellation Brands, who's the brewer of Corona beer, agreed to build a new brewery in southeastern Mexico. I don't know how I saw it west instead of east. Oh man, the agreement set to be announced early this week comes 2 years after government. It doesn't tell me if they went up or down, but I imagine they probably went up based off of that news. That is another big one too. When things get tight, economies decline, people turn to alcohol and cigarettes and things to kind of cope with the way they're feeling. So unfortunately, as it is, those stocks seem to be pretty good during a recessionary time period. They're kind of solid ones. Yeah, similar to McDonald's. I own quite a bit of McDonald's stock. It's similar to that in whether it's a good or a bad economy. People utilize McDonald's, and then if in a bad economy, they utilize them more, or tend to, because people want cheaper meals. If you want to go out and you're tired of cooking at home, a lot of times people do cook at home during those times, but anyways, we got, I'm going to go on a tangent on McDonald's. So Coupa Software, the business software company, earned an adjusted 31 cents per share for the latest quarter, well above the 2 cents estimate, with revenue also topping forecast. However, its loss widened from a year ago with a surge in operating expenses, and shares tumbled 11%. Ouch. Coupa. Sorry, buddy. You are out. I do not actually know much about Coupa Software. These are getting down to some of the ones I don't know. Let's see. Mimecast, the cybersecurity company, agreed to be acquired by Primera for $80 a share, which jumped it 6%. That makes sense. MongoDB, I saw that one. That was interesting. It surged 20% pre-market after the database platform company reported a smaller expected quarterly loss, beat revenue forecast, and raised their financial outlook. We got Intel, also surged 8.8%. Trading said it's Mobileye, I know, a self-driving car would take its Mobileye self-driving car public, planning a mid-2022 in the IPO. They could value that at more than $50 billion. It's interesting to me. There's so many people taking these self-driving car things. You got Apple involved now. You got Tesla. You got pretty much most of the car makers. And now you got Intel jumping on board. I'm sure Microsoft, I think I've read something about Microsoft as well jumping in on it, but I don't know that to be, I don't want to lie to y'all and say that they are. So just take that as a grain of salt right there, because I believe I saw that somewhere, but I can't recall exactly what they're jumping into. So everybody, apparently the new self-driving car thing is a thing, and we're probably in the next 20 years, we're probably going to mostly be driving self-driving cars. And that technology is just going to advance, I'm sure, to other things. So we got Acadia. They scored 15.5% pre-market. I've seen positive results on a late-stage trial of experimental treatment for Rett syndrome, genetic disorder that primarily affects brain development in girls. Wow, good for them. That's awesome. Great news for them and for those that suffer from Rett syndrome. That's great. Jack in the Box was upgraded to a buy from hold. I've never actually ate at a Jack in the Box. They don't have those around me. That was done by Deutsche Bank, which said the restaurant operator's acquisition of Mexican food chain Del Taco makes sense. I just don't get. Sometimes I don't get what people are doing, and the Jack in the Box, which I don't know what they sell. They could sell burgers. They could sell chicken. It doesn't matter. They could sell tacos for all I know. Jack in the Box. Just if I didn't know the name, I mean, I know they do something. I know they're a fast food chain, but buying Del Tacos makes sense. It's like saying McDonald's buying Wendy's makes sense. It's like, duh. It's like they're fast food. That's what they do. Like, I mean, what wouldn't make sense is if Jack in the Box came out saying that they were getting into self-driving cars. That don't make sense. So, I don't understand sometimes. Oh, man, these analysts. So, Jack in the Box shares had fallen more than 4% on Monday after the deal was announced. Jack in the Box. So, it made sense, but we're going to push the panic button. Whatever. Then we got Bumble, the dating service, rallied 7.1% in pre-market after JCP Morgan upgraded to overweight from neutral. Following a meeting with management, the firm said it was now more confident with the growth trajectory and prospectus. Oh, so JP Morgan went in there, they had a little conversation, figured out what shares they needed to buy, and then said, you know what, I really think I like this company. After we've had a meeting with them, we've really figured out how to wiggle our way in there for some extra moon arrow. We really love them. We really, really love them. Yeah, that doesn't seem suspicious. So, anyways, guys, that's the morning movers here. We're gonna jump back over here and see what we're at. 324. We got 324, 57, and 285. I think that's a little bit lower than when we started the video, but Either way, it is looking like a positive day in the market. You got oil up 2.86%. The U.S. 10-year is up what 1.4. This is barely up anything. So yeah. So that's it. Hope you guys do well in the market today, and hope you give me a like, share, subscribe, follow, whatever it is that you like to do, and we'll check in a little bit later this afternoon and see how the market's still playing up and what all new stuff we have in the market. Appreciate it, guys. Have a good one, and thanks. How do you stop? Stop streaming.